Now that we've learned what post-production immersive audio is, Dolby Atmos takes it a step further to include object-based audio. So in video games, an object can have a sound source attached to it, so as the object moves around, so does the sound source. It sticks to that particular object. You can assign sounds in Atmos music too, just like objects that are untethered to speaker locations, and they can be panned around a space, including elevation. Atmos also consists of beds, which are assigned to speaker locations. Now, once mixed, everything can be collapsed or expanded to accommodate for different speaker setups. So if you're listening on headphones, 5.1, or 7.1.4, which is 7 speakers around you, 1 subwoofer, and 4 height channels, Atmos will collapse or expand to conform to your speaker setup, from headphones to 22 speakers. So that means a single mix is compatible with many setups, and we'll get to that means for the music production industry in a sec. With Atmos, you have 128 channels to work with. The first 10 are going to be your 7.1.2 bed, and then you can use up to 118 objects. Your LFE channel is your low frequency emitter channel. That's your subwoofer for all of your super low frequencies. Once mixed, the session can be exported into an ADM BWF file, which is an audio definition model broadcast wave format. And that file package is 48K, 24-bit, and no greater than -18 LUFS in volume. Now, this file does not play on its own. Dolby Atmos is an encoder. It's a codec, so it still needs to be decoded. Does it need to render it for headphones or a surround sound system? That process is not automatic, so we'll dive deeper into that in the next video. When you hear it, the result you get is a 3D experience and an externalization of the sound. So it means the sound doesn't feel like it's originating inside your head. The mixes have enhanced clarity because there's much more space to work with, and there's a possibility for greater energy in the mix because of all the new positioning options. Apple came out with their own version of this called Spatial Audio. Spatial is like Atmos, but it also includes head tracking. So with head tracking embedded, if you have AirPod Pros or the new Apple headphones, when you turn your head and you're listening to their music, the sound source will stay put or what have you. Head tracking is possible. They put a lot more math into it. And it's arguable that their algorithm is just better, so it sounds more realistic localization-wise for a 3D experience. Sony 360 Reality Audio is another version of this. MPEG-H is yet another codec that didn't get embraced in America like it did in Europe, but with that format you can actually further extract out audio parts. So if you are watching a movie and you wanted to turn up just the dialogue and not the music, you could. However, it kind of put shade on the artistic aspect of a mix, and for various reasons, it didn't really get embraced and spread and disseminated like Atmos did in America. So Atmos is the standard, but just so you're aware, there are other audio formats out there for 360 sound. You could tailor your mixes for different audio codecs, but you really just need to send out the ADM BWF when that's done. So to review, Dolby Atmos is an encoder. It's a codec, so there's no such thing as a Dolby Atmos file. It, like these other formats, are a way of storing and organizing audio with metadata so that it can render in a 3D fashion. Now, to listen to it from a consumer standpoint, there's several things you have to keep in mind. You have to be listening through a premium streaming service, so Apple Music does spatial. There's also Amazon HD or Tidal Hi-Fi. They support 3D audio formats. You also have to be listening through a proper medium, so not all speakers are compatible with Atmos. A lot of times they will advertise if they are. The new cars, like Mercedes, is compatible with Atmos now, the iPhone 7 and up. Some Bose soundbars have speakers facing up that reflect off the ceiling, and that's sort of how they mimic the height channels. As far as Apple goes, if you want spatial audio, and again, it has to be those AirPods Pro or the new headphones. Finally, if that's all good, you do need to tell your speakers that they're listening to Atmos. So the iPhone has in settings something that says Atmos that you can turn to always on. And if you're listening to spatial as well, you need to make sure that that's turned on your device. So basically, if your speaker has a setting for on, turn it on. Simple, right? And the labels wonder why everything isn't catching on. Okay, so we've learned what immersive audio is, what formats are out there, and how to hear them. Finally, in the last video, I'll go over how to actually produce and distribute an Atmos mix. So if you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for your support.